Welcome to another episode of Sustainable Living at Home with Janine Liza on the Art with Janine Liza YouTube channel. In this video, I'm sharing a bit of the journey of going from winter to spring as I get started on the garden. I started recording these clips in February. Where are you gonna go? Come on, Oaks. Come on, baby. There's nowhere to go now. I'm gonna have to shovel this a little. Just want to take a quick look at the pond. Ooh, it's so deep. There we go. Wow, I see birds down there. Okay. Believe it or not, I've come out here to do a little bit of gardening. What I want to do is just dig some of the snow off of these beds. These are my footsteps, they're so deep. There we go. And just dug this bed out here. This is actually a potato bed. And I'm getting some straw tomorrow and I want to put it down here just to sort of have some material ready for the spring. It is such a nice day today though. The weather is really good. It's not cold at all, so it really is the best day to do it. So I have a raised garden bed out here that I love, and I have added to it each year with more of the chicken wire and stuff because I find that the little critters like to get in and take the food that I'm growing. So I'm just trying to protect some of it. And I'm glad I did because it's basically, we got a lot of snow this winter. Previously I only had netting on top of it, and the first winter I did that, it caved with all the snow. So we got quite a bit of snow, and for some reason right after that I started wanting to do something with the garden, get things prepared. I'm hoping anyways, if everything's not frozen. I have had to take the door off because when it freezes in the winter down here, on the floor here, it expands things and the door wouldn't open. So I just undid the brackets. I've got the screws in a safe place and I'm going to just take this door out of the way. Oh, it's beautiful. So I knocked off the snow from 3 sections. Yes, I have that last section there that I can just knock off now, and it's defrosting. You can see it dripping down there. So I'm going to get that done now. I'm just going to take a look inside this bed here. Use a snow shovel. Oh, I've got handy right now. See what we got here. Ooh, something green there. I think that might be from when I was trying to grow parsnips, but the soil here is probably frozen. Yeah, it is frozen, so I won't be able to get to that right now. A gift from the vegetable bed area. While cleaning it out, this was growing down on the floor, and with all this cold weather it was still thriving. So I'm going to put this in a pot and gift this to a family member who I know would like these strawberries. Another sunny day. And as odd as it might seem to some, preparing for your garden in weather like this, you have to kind of put out of your mind, you know, what the weather might be like today, as long as the sun's out. It fluctuates so much. Between February and March, it can be minus 20 degrees one day and plus 10 the next. So I'll be out here on the better days. All the snow is gone from the top of the raised beds area, and I have thrown a temporary tarp on so that I can stop the breeze from hitting me as I get to work in here. Okay, one job started. I started the compost. I have been layering it with scraps from the kitchen and soil, just getting it started so I don't need to waste anything right now in the spring from the kitchen, and it can be used later in the garden. As soon as these beds have defrosted, I will be digging some deep ditches in them and putting this compost way down in the base of them. Another job completed was to tidy up a little bit, put the crates and the cages where they might be needed. Okay, so that's enough for this day. I'm going to put the door back on the enclosure temporarily just like this and support it with this little crate. And pretty soon, literally in a couple of weeks, things will start to defrost really well. And I'll be able to dig out around this door so that the ground will be flat again and I can put the door back on. As cold as it looks outside, it is actually spring now. So Oakley's got a new spring haircut. Did you have a big day today, Oaks? Was it a big day? You got your hair cut? Yeah. You're a good boy, Oaks. Cleaning my paws? Oh, you're so cute. Hey, Oakley. Can you say mum? Like, not right now. Oakley tries to say mum, and it comes out more like rum. Mum. Mum. Rum. Good boy. On the rainier days in spring, I decide to stock up on things I might like to have in the cupboard or have handy to give as gifts. A tasty treat is a nice slice of toast and marmalade, so today I decided I'm going to do some cooking. If I get this done now, I'll have more time to do other stuff in the garden in the spring and the summer. And I decided I would film little clips of it and then make a full video of the step-by-step instructions and share the delicious liquid gold marmalade recipe on my YouTube channel. You can find this on the Sustainable Living playlist. Finally, another warm day. I'm going to get my boots on and get outside. I've got some buckets prepared, some tarp and some gloves. My oldest son is on his way over with the truck and we are heading over to see a friend who has very kindly put aside some horse manure for me that I can put in my garden. Here we are, just a week or so after all that snow, and now we have beautiful sunshine and buckets of rich horse manure. This year I've added a couple of new beds to the garden. That will be fun to figure out what to put in them. I just really wanted to freshen up the soil, and I've dug out this little herb bed too, and I'm going to be redoing it. Yesterday we put some manure and straw into the garden, and today, what is this falling from the sky? I'm trying to catch some of my clothing in my hand. They're like little pellets, little ice pellets. Maybe they'll bounce off of my sweater here. And there they go. Whew, chilly in my socks. So, a bit different than yesterday. Not going to be doing too much in the garden today. What do you think, Oaks? So just a day later and we have 17 degrees, and over the back fences it sounds like summer as people are coming out and getting things done. Just going to take advantage of this day while it's here. It's beautiful, the sun's shining. So I just want to show you, here is a rain barrel that has been set up with a little eaves trough off of the framing here. And this is right close to the raised garden beds. It will store the rainwater and it'll be a huge help to me on those dry days. I managed to get a hold of an economical HVAC tube, which I'm going to put holes all along and use it for the overflow from the rain barrel, so no water's wasted. In the other area of the garden, I have these two new beds that were started, and look at that sun just beaming down. There's a bit of a heavy wind today as it brings in the warmer weather for, I don't know, a few days. I'm going to make the most of it. Now with that ice rain yesterday, the pond's got a little overfull. The fish are doing well though. There's Bruce and Angela. My goal today is to bring in some fresh soil to fill this bed up as much as I can. Another little job today, I've basically replaced the string that was on this trellis by the far fence that I grew my cucuzza and my long beans on last year with this nice piece of netting. Since it's such a lovely day, I decided to give this plant some fresh air. It's the beginnings of scarlet runner beans and some garlic that I started indoors. Hi Oaks, are you enjoying the sunshine? Another beautiful day, counting down to when I can put all the plants in the beds outside. Now to put to good use all of those eggshells that I rinsed and collected over the winter, dried them out, crumbled them up, and now they're going to enrich the soil in the vegetable beds. I treated myself to a few economical plant pots from the dollar store, and now I'm just drilling holes in them and creating vertical planters with them because they're stackable. This year's big experiment was adding straw to the beds. I wanted to do this to elevate the soil and help with drainage. I've heard that it can improve the vegetable growth. It is a risky thing to do though because the straw can sprout, but I'm willing to weed it out and see how it goes. The beds are looking good. Good morning. It is April 8th and we have snow again. What do you think, Oaks? Is it warm enough to get some work done today? Let's go hide inside for a little bit longer. Yesterday was warm enough that I was able to put this plant outside for an hour or two, but that won't be happening today. Here's my predictor of which days to do some work indoors. Once we get a little bit more sun, I'll be able to go outside and continue out there. One of these activities will be turning these bottles into mini greenhouses to get plants started early. Another activity will be building and stabilizing vertical planters. This will allow me to start and grow more plants in a smaller space. A short video of building a stable vertical planter will be shared on the Sustainable Living at Home playlist on the Art with Janine Liza YouTube channel. Just popping outside again, and thought it was a good idea to note that the snow is quite helpful in telling you where the best spots are in the garden for growing certain plants. If you look over at that bed there, that one corner is melted already, so that means it's got the sun first, and it's one of the better spots for growing. And then all these beds along here have no snow on them, so this is the warmer section. The other three corners I should plant something that doesn't mind shade. Ooh, that is windy. Okay, hopping back inside. Back outside and adding a little bit more topsoil to the beds. I have these garlic cloves that are getting a little bit past their date. Starting to smell pretty strong in the fridge, so I thought I'll just bring them out here and plant them even though it's early. I didn't want to waste these garlic cloves, so I'm going to take a chance and see if any of them grow. Just making sure the root section is facing downwards. And I'm just going to pick this corner here and just plant them all randomly. And if they grow too close together, I could always shift them apart a little bit. Just taking one of those early chances in the spring where, you know, it may or may not grow, but the chance that it would just get wasted, it's worth giving it a shot. This little stick here just tells me where they're planted. Back outside on another beautiful sunny day. Oakley has a cozy cone because he has a little scrape on his leg that I don't want him to lick and infect. We're just out here having a look around and see what else we can get done. The garden is getting more ready each week and I can't wait to start planting. Now I'm adding a little extra topsoil to the raised beds as well. The sage branches are not brittle, so this is a good sign that it might grow well again this year. The next little project is preparing the overflow pipes for the raised beds. I have zip ties here to tell me where I don't need to drill any holes in it, and the other sections will have holes so they can release the water over the raised beds. I'm drilling the holes all the way through, so I'm making 2 holes in the pipe one way, and then I'm going to come back and drill them through the whole pipe the other way too. Now to connect the tubes. The overflow for the rain barrel is coming through the side of the raised beds, and I'm just putting that into this pipe, and you can see all the holes in the pipe. Now I'm trying to configure a way that I'm going to lay this pipe down in order to have gravity do its work. In order to help gravity do its job, I managed to tie this pipe in a way that sort of starts higher but lower than the rain barrel's overflow, and high enough to drip the water down, gradually decreasing the height until we go around to the other side, and the pipe goes down and is dug into the soil as it reaches the end. The next adventure / experiment is making a potato cage. I had a small roll of fencing wire in the shed, and I thought I'd give it a try. This has all been clipped together at the side here, so I'm just going to detach those little sharp bits of metal on the edge. Got to be careful not to catch your hand. I had to use my feet to kind of stabilize it and help stretch it out. And then roll it into a larger circle and clip it back together. You can just fold these little pieces of metal that are sticking out very carefully back around it and tie it together. And there you have it, a potato cage. Now we're going to experiment and see if I can actually grow some potatoes in it. I'll place this potato cage in my potato patch area. I'm going to basically dig out a section, place the cage down into the soil to stabilize it a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that the opening of the cage is at the front, so that once everything is grown in the fall, I can simply open that up at the front there, and all of the vegetables that have grown should just fall out, and hopefully that makes it easier to harvest them, if I'm lucky enough to actually get potatoes. So the idea is that this is built in stages, where you place first some straw, then soil in the middle, then you pack the straw around the edges for, I guess it does keep some of the sun away from the actual soil inside, but also insulates a little and prevents the soil from falling out of the edges of the cage. Once this is complete, this has to be drenched in water, but the idea of using the straw as well is to make sure that you have good drainage for the growing of the potatoes. So I'm placing straw around the edges and packing it nicely, and then adding soil into the center. I want to pack this well so that the soil doesn't just fall out when it rains. It's starting to look good now. It looks like a giant nest. Hopefully this works. It's a fun experiment anyways. Momentarily jumping forward a couple of weeks, I had some potatoes given to me that had some eyes growing on them, and I decided I would just plant them early in this bed because they are insulated by all of this straw, and I wanted to see how they would do if they got an early start. Then I covered it with some more soil and made sure that the edges of the straw was nice and tight in there and snug so that it would be protected from the chill. Then I placed straw on the top, and this also will protect it a little bit more from the chill. Next, you drench it in water and then water whenever needed until you start to see sprouts. As the stems peep through, I'll be adding more layers of soil and straw until it reaches the top of this cage. Another day and thinking of more ways to grow food. I've decided to clear this patch in the garden, which gets pretty good sun, and turn it into a vegetable patch. I removed cement slabs and weed fabric, and now this area, which is close to the rain barrel and will have access to that water, is now ready to turn into a vegetable bed. I start by putting down some of the horse manure, some straw, and turning it over into the soil a bit. I found a piece of edging that I folded and used some logs to hold it in place so that I could just retain this area. And I'm going to be placing some fresh topsoil on top of this. Now a mucky area is reorganized and is a beautiful potential growing area. Now, to protect this area for the most part from the animals, I had an old puppy playpen sitting on the back deck. It's got a little bit rusty here and there, and it hasn't been used in years, so this is the perfect use for it. I'm so happy to have expanded my growing space. Another day. You finish that sentence. This steel framed vegetable bed is perfect for this area. I was just going to build this area up, but I decided this would work lovely. It actually makes the bed a little smaller, like thinner, but it organizes this space a little bit better. So I'm really happy with this. I'll be planting my beans in here and some herbs. Today I sprinkled just a little bit of Epsom salt on each of the beds. I have done a little bit of research online on it and heard that it really does help the plants to grow nicely, so just a little. I'm not going crazy with it.
Hey, Oaks.
I also decided to top some of the beds with some straw just to give them a little bit of mulch. Please do research before using straw in your garden because it can sprout, and as I said, it's an experiment. Temporarily, I put this chicken wire on this bed just to stop, local cats from thinking it might be a good kitty litter. Making use of the first collection from the rain barrel, I decided to experiment with some of the rock wool starter cubes that I had in the shed and try to start my plants outdoors. After this week coming up, I don't see any more zeros on the forecast, so I think I could start these outdoors with a little extra protection. I've put them in containers and I have a cage over them, and I'm also wrapping them over with some plastic and supporting that down with a bit of wood. And these are also in my raised bed area that has a temporary tarp tunnel over the top as well. So that's double protection. So while these seeds are starting, it might be cool, and I'm hoping that it's not too cool for them, but I'd really like to see them be a little bit more weather hardy. These are aquaponics starter things, but I'm not going to be using them for aquaponics. It is an experiment and we'll see how it goes. I hope you're enjoying the warmer weather and getting things started in your garden and looking forward to a great growing season. Here are the mini greenhouses with the top 2/3 of these bottles pressed into the soil with the seeds underneath. They can be watered from the top and they're shielded from the cold. Here in the protected area, I've also planted some carrot seeds to see whether starting them early works out well, and put a net over the top. In another area, I have these little cardboard plant starters, little pots, and I have some seeds in them. And a friend generously gave me some larger water bottles that I cut the ends off of and I'm using as little greenhouses. So these get placed over like this. The lids go on when it's chilly outside. I have flowers and vegetables starting this way in the protected area. Empty plant pots are also handy for starting seeds for a small experiment. I'm just putting these plant pots over at night just to keep the chill off, and the chilly nights are becoming less and less. This morning I thought I would try a little bubble wrap to protect the plants since I had a couple of bits from packaging. This bag fits perfectly over my vertical planter, and I just made a few holes in the top of it for ventilation. You can see how this bag fits perfectly around it. It is a bit of a chilly day to bring the sprouts outside, but I want them to be weather hardy. So I decided that while they were super small, I'd do that. Another beautiful sunny day and only 3 weeks to go. Under the bubble wrap, I find these beautiful pepper sprouts doing really well. I've no doubt these will become weather hardy. I've never had much luck growing peppers, so I'm hoping this is the year. Some of these cress are getting stronger and I will transplant some. I'll just take a peek at the rockwool starter blocks. Oh wow, there we have a couple of spinach, I believe, sprouting up. That's great. This is a good sign. Maybe these will do well. Even though I'm not planting plants yet, I can put a few seeds in an experiment since they take about 10 to 12 days to germinate. In here I've planted spinach in one side of this new bed, and in the other quarter over here there's sorrel, and then on this side is cress. This is in a protected area with a cage and a net that I got from a dollar store for only $5, which is really handy. I could tie a knot over here, and I used the drawstring on the other side, and the screws on this actual bed help to hold it in place. In other areas I have put in some early seeds for beans, and again I'm using netting, and this is to stop any of the critters from digging out my seeds. As soon as they start to sprout, I'll use a lighter netting over the top. I hope you're all enjoying the journey up to planting this season. You can go out if you want. You gonna get the door? Good boy. I hope you've enjoyed following along as I've gone from winter to spring in the garden. I'm really looking forward to planting everything in just a few weeks and getting the garden fully ready for a summer of growing beautiful food. If you're not yet a subscriber to Art with Janine Liza, and you found a spark of inspiration in this video for your garden, please feel free to click subscribe and help this channel grow.